So this is to set up Blender as a video processor and to also set up the presets so that videos, and when we save the videos and output the videos, they will be the correct format. So we're going to open Blender first. To get started, we need to import a video. So I've got a file right here with some old videos that I've been working with. And so I'm just going to left click and hold, and I'm going to drag that into my video editor. When you drag in a video, the video lines up with wherever the time strip, this little green bar, is at. So if I move the timeline bar here and I drag in a video, it's going to start at that spot. So if I want this video to start right at 0, I need to move this all the way over to where it says 0 plus 0, 0. The video will start at the beginning. Once I have a video in here, I can start manipulating the settings, and there's a couple of settings that we need to change. So I've attached this Word doc that shows all the basic settings that you need to have. So we're going to go through those now. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to scroll down until we get to output. Output is where we are going to change the beginning settings because we want it to save a certain way. If it doesn't save the certain way, it's going to be very difficult for us to play, to upload to YouTube and things like that. So I've got the standard video format for YouTube. So we're going to put that in right now. First thing I want to do is establish a save point. So I'm going to click this little file folder, and I'm just going to save it under my desktop, and then I have art videos. So once you click all the places that you want, you can just save it to your desktop, or you can start your own folder. I'm going to go up here, and this shows me where it's going to be saved to, and I'm going to click accept. So now when I look at this, this is where it's going to be saving. So I want the file extension saved because the file extensions show what type of file it is. So if it's a .mov, a .mp4, things, any of those, we want that file extension showing what it is. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change this format, and we're going to go to FFmpeg video. That gives us a lot of options, and this is what most video formats run under. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make it RGB. RGB means it's going to be in color. If you want to make it black and white, that's fine, but most of us are going to be using it in color, so I'm going to select that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the encoding, and I'm going to go to presets. I'm going to scroll down to H.264 in MP4. This is the basic format that most programs can run and see video and audio in. Next, I'm going to double check the codec that it's H.264. It should do that automatically. The output is medium quality. So you can make it high quality, you can make it low quality. The lowest quality is going to be the fastest and the smallest. The higher quality is going to be a larger file, and it's going to take longer for us to upload it and to process it. The encoding speed is how fast we want to do this. The faster that we encode something, the more likely that it is going to screw up. That's the simple fact of it. If you do things fast, it screws up, but it gets it done faster. If we do it slower, it's going to process better, and it's going to produce a higher quality video, but it's going to take a long time. We're just going to leave that at a medium speed, and we're going to leave it at a medium quality. That's going to satisfy most of the video. Deal with is the keyframe intervals. The keyframe intervals should be half the speed of your frame rate. The frame rate you can find up here. Here's our frame rate right here. So our frame rates per second, how many frames our videos take per second. Higher quality videos like taken by a GoPro or professional video systems work at 60 frames per second or higher. Most cell phones work about 30 to 40 frames per second. So we're going to just make it an even 60 frames per second, and then we're going to scroll down And right now my key frame rate interval is at 18, so I'm going to bump that up to 30 because it's got to be half the frame rates. So a lot of the videos, when you drag them in, will automatically adjust the frame rate to whatever is dragged in. So typically you don't need to worry about that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the resolution of our video. So I shot this with a GoPro, so it shot pretty high. It's at 1920 by 1080. We don't need it to be that high of a resolution, especially if we're going to stick it on YouTube. The typical or regular resolution of YouTube videos is 1280 by 720 or 720p. So that's a regular resolution. So that's all we really need. If you want to really shoot it in a high resolution, you can, but it's going to take up more space and it's going to take more time to process. So I'm going to change it to a regular resolution. So I'm going to change the x-axis down to 1280 and the y down to 720. So you'll notice in the video sequence editor video, the size of the video has shrunk, and that's fine. If you want to make it larger so it fills up the area, you can hover your cursor over the video and then just either scroll up or scroll down to make it fit the screen better. Next thing that we got to do is, right now it's taken 50% of what the full resolution is. We need to change that so it processes the whole resolution. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to change it to 100%. So this is going to fill up our frame. We can take that down a little bit so that we can see it better. But the resolution, this is what it should finish at: 1280p by 720p at 100%. You want to make sure that the aspect ratio is 1:1. That means that there's no warping or anything like that. If I change the X to 2, it's going to make it wider and it's going to make it more warped. So we want the video to be the same as it was when we processed it. So that's 1:1. And this is, again, is all right here on this Word doc. Once we have updated all these settings, we have changed our windows in Blender to represent what we want to work with. You can arrange this however you want to do it. I like it in this format so I can see the video in its process. I can see my layering. I know what all my presets are, and I can control it down here. So I try to keep this at the default. So I want this to start up like this every time that I come in. So I want to make sure that there's no videos, all my presets are there. So I'm going to select these two. I'm going to delete them and erase them. So this should be the basic format of when you set up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it so that every time that I open Blender, it's going to restart with these same settings. So I'm going to go up to File, and I'm going to click Save Startup File. And this is going to make sure that every time that I open this, it's always going to open right here.
Do more, do better.